Do you like stories about haunted locations? Or maybe tales of cryptids and spooky folklore from around the world? If so, why not tune in to Haunted Escapes with Chris and Diane, where all this and more will be discussed. New episodes drop every Sunday, the visual versions the following Friday on YouTube. So why not come join us on our Haunted Escapes?
Come in the morning.
He's looking at you, kid.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Filmjoe podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Carlos. Yeah, and we are also here with Daisy.
What's up?
And welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So this week is going to be a good one. We are going to talk about remakes. So we will be talking original and compare it up against the remake and go from there and discuss it.
Sure.
Sound good, folks?
Awesome.
All right. So this week it's Welcome to Fright Night.
Dun, dun, dun.
For real.
Yeah. So we're talking about 2011's Fright Night with Colin Farrell and Anton Yelchin. And the original, which was, I forgot who it was, but it was, what, 1986?
1985.
1985.
Ooh, you got out nerded.
I got out-nerded. I'll bow my head in shame.
Yes.
It's my genre. It's my genre.
It's vampires, exactly, not
Yeah.
zombies. Like last week, my favorite monsters movie is vampires.
Look, man, I like monsters.
Yeah, monsters are awesome.
Kaijus are the best, though. A good fucking kaiju film. Hell
Godzilla.
yeah.
Gojira.
Gojira.
All right, so this week, based on the two films we'll be discussing, our rating scale will be on a scale of 1 to 10. Fangs.
Okay.
Nice. Me likes.
Uh-huh.
I would have accepted fangs, bites, bats.
Yeah, that one's an easy one to choose a rating.
Coffins.
Yeah.
Steaks, medium rare. And
Mhm.
so before we go on, let's go into some flicks of interest, movies that are coming up that we may not have heard about that might be actually pretty good.
Oh.
All right. So the first one, there's a really good one coming up. And I saw, it's no trailer for it just yet, but it stars Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Ooh.
Yes. And the movie's called Wolves. And it's about,
Ooh.
and it's a couple of wolf fixers, like, remember Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
The wolf becomes, he's a fixer. So it's two
okay.
fixers, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, who are assigned to the same job.
Ah.
Nice.
So, yeah, it sounds really good. I mean, I like those. I mean, they work well together. They have good chemistry. They're really, really slick and cool. So this one's set to release around September, early September.
Oh, shit. Okay, soon.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Another film that looks pretty interesting. It's called The Watchers. And yes, there is a trailer for this, and it stars Dakota Fanning. And she plays a young artist who gets, she's like stranded in this immaculate forest in Western Ireland. And it's just a strange fucking movie. You got to watch the trailer. Sometimes those are the best ones that you watch a trailer, you go, wow, that looks good.
Yeah.
What the hell is it about?
Mm.
Those are usually the good ones. In fact, the last time I remember a film like that was Cabin in the Woods.
Nah, the last time I remember a film like that was Barbarian.
But
then again, it was kind of like, oh, I kind of get the gist. Like, it's a stranger danger sort of situation. And then boom, hits you out of nowhere.
Damn good movie.
Damn good fucking movie.
Have you seen Barbarian, Daisy?
I have not.
You got to watch it. It's actually pretty good. There's somebody.
Put that on my list.
Yes, definitely. But Carlos?
Yeah.
Good movie?
I would say a good movie.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a listener out there who tends to seriously disagree with me and call it garbage. And I keep telling it's a masterpiece of a horror film.
Strong words, though. Garbage.
Strong words. So
I mean, I take your opinion touch and go ever since you said the Barbie movie was horrible.
Barbie was horrible.
No,
Barbie. Now that's
no,
dark.
no, no. I
Mm.
would die on that hill. That was a good movie.
No, it was crap. It was crap.
Daisy, what's your take on the Barbie movie?
I'm a girl. I love me some Barbies, but
Hell yeah.
that shit looks stupid as fuck.
I disregard your opinion. Then. I disregard your opinion.
Thank you.
can't. I don't like that woke bullshit. I really don't. I'm
It's not
sorry.
woke.
It's bad. It's
Okay,
bad.
okay. Well, that's not what we're talking about here.
Okay. We're talking about the masterpiece that is Barbarian.
Yes, that. Yeah.
And
I don't know about masterpiece. It's good.
It's damn good. It's a damn
damn good.
So that one listener, if you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. It's a damn good movie.
Mhm.
I got Carlos here to agree with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I liked it.
All right. So let's move along.
Yes.
Move along.
Now, the final film, this one looks batshit crazy.
Mm.
All right. So the film is called Abigail. And-
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
And there's a trailer for this. And basically, it's a bunch, like this group of criminals that get locked in like a mansion. They're set up. It's like, oh, go rob this mansion. And they get trapped in there. And there is a vampire loose
Mm.
in the mansion. But get this, it's a little girl.
Oh,
And she's a fucking ballerina. And she does ballet moves and kills people.
that sounds badass.
Oh, it looks amazing.
It looks refreshing.
It
is what
does.
it does.
It looks a lot. It
Yeah.
looks, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And one of my favorite actors is in it, Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, that weird fuck.
Oh, yeah, from
The Santa from no, it was the burglar from the
No, that's
Violent Night.
no, Mr.
No.
Pollo.
Oh, fuck me. Ah, you're right.
Pollo's
Breaking Bad.
Hermanos.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Moff Gideon.
Moff
Fuck
Gideon.
me.
Yeah,
Who the hell am I thinking about?
I have no idea.
The dude who's like the fucking the Violent Night, Silent Night, the brown dude.
the guy, brown dude.
Yeah.
It's because he's Hispanic. The brown dude.
Hey,
That
it's coming
racist
from a
man.
fellow brown.
That's
That
racist.
racist. Is,
But yeah, so Abigail comes out this actually, Daisy, a day after your birthday.
oh, nice. Oh,
Yes.
birthday.
And it looks really, really, really awesome. I looks just like you said, Carlos. It's a breath of fresh air, something
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
and unique. But if you get a chance, Daisy, check out the trailer.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
What was the name again?
Abigail,
Abigail.
Abby something?
normal. Little young Frankenstein reference there.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what are we talking about here? What films? We're talking about remakes.
Right, I forgot.
All right. So what we're going to do here, we are Hollywood producers. We're the head of a studio, and we're tasked with doing a remake.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, what would you remake? Who'd you cast, and who would you put as director?
Okay.
And why would you remake it?
Okay. So this is easily one of my right? But this one is one of my favorite Disney movies. And I know. We Disney, right? Whatever. But this one really just it's such a good movie. It's one of the like the slow burners from Disney.
Okay.
You know, it was really pushed under the fucking rug.
All right.
Treasure Planet.
Oh.
I would kill to see a live action though with practical sets
Yes.
and actual seeing like moon bases and pirate spaceships and shit. I would kill to see a Treasure Planet remake.
Ooh.
Director,
Okay.
hear me out, Mr. J.J. Abrams himself.
Oh.
I think he would do really well. He also has a like a young spirit adventure sort of
Right.
like a touch, like a Spielberg-esque touch.
Right.
Right.
Mhm. Yes, I agree.
And the whole thing of going back to like practicality,
Okay.
I think he would just kick it out of the park, man.
Okay.
All right, good choice.
Starring as the young boy, I don't remember his fucking name, but the guy, the main character. I think he's a little bit too handsome,
Okay.
but he does
I'll
have
be the judge of
the charisma, right? Austin Butler. He has like the
Ooh,
sort of face
okay.
and the hair.
Okay.
A little bit too cute though.
Okay.
I would give him a little more.
Too cute.
I would give him a little bit more plumpy cheeks. Something to like, teenify him up a little bit.
All right. I can see this.
And then, God, what the fuck was his name? There's a character in the movie that trains this youngster in the ways of becoming like the pirates.
Okay.
Right? And for that, I would give it to John Goodman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see this. I
Yeah.
can see this, but it has to be done right. It can't be.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't be Disney sticking their dick into this and to saying how to make it. It's got to be a J.J. Abrams film.
Easily, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
That would be my pick.
Okay, wow, that's a good one. I like that. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not much for the Disney live action remakes, but that.
I would love to see that.
Wow.
When they were doing all the like live action remakes, I was like, oh, please get around to Treasure Planet.
Wow.
Please.
That would be
Stop
awesome.
doing the princesses. Get a fucking around to. They're doing Lilo and Stitch. God damn it! Get around.
Oh,
to Treasure
come
Planet.
on, dude.
Yeah. All right, so Daisy,
Okay.
Daisy, your film.
Okay, so my film would be He-Man.
Oh,
He-Man. Okay, so I'm an 80s girl. I grew up with
Okay.
He-Man. I remember the day that it first came out. I freaking loved it. Love He-Man, love She-Ra. So when they announced this movie, I went ape shit. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be badass. When I saw this movie, I believe my brother probably took me to the theaters to go see this.
Fucking
I
horrible.
was so, oh God, I was so disappointed.
And who played He-Man? Who played He-Man?
Dolph Lundgren.
Oh my god.
Okay, but you know what though? I mean, even with Dolph Lundgren, I think, under the right, storytelling, right director, it would have been great. But what did they do? They created some kind of fucking portal to the real world.
Yeah, that's where it got really stupid.
Yeah.
And enough said, so yeah, it totally killed it. So for me, a remake would have to be in their universe, in the,
Okay.
which is Eternia, So the director would be Mr. Joss Whedon.
Oh, okay.
Joss Whedon, he's a nerd.
Yeah, well, he did the first Avengers film, and Buffy the
Yes.
Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think he would do this justice. I trust my man.
All right.
All right. So here's my cast. He-Man. I would pick Mr. Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, that's a cute He-Man.
Oh, that's beyond you. That man is smoking. Woo.
Yeah.
Mr. He-Man, Mr. Chris Hemsworth.
That is okay. That's really, really good. Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't know if you guys remember the character of Tila. She was a redhead, kicked ass.
Okay. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, well, I would get Miss Scarlett Johansson to play that role.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Okay. Now I'm sold. I'm sold. Anything with her in it, I'm watching.
Yeah.
I have to say that's my girl crush, and I'm straight as an arrow, but she's beautiful.
She is. She's hot.
She is. She is.
And a damn
Okay.
good actress.
Exactly. And then there's a character called Man-at-Arms, who is her father.
Oh yes, I remember that guy.
Okay, Man-at-Arms, I would get Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Holy shit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, Hollywood, are you listening?
Seriously. Okay, so I'm not done yet. Oof.
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, as for Skeletor,
Okay.
the main villain,
Right.
I wouldn't get an actual act. I mean, obviously we would get an actor, a body actor, but he would have to be voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Okay, I'm geeking out here. I don't
right,
even
right.
Great
You can't wait to
voice
see
actor,
this shit,
too.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a He-Man fan per se, but I'd watch that.
Yes, right.
All right.
So, and then there is another villain, main villain. Her name is Evelyn. Now, this actress, I love this actress. I think she's gorgeous. I think she has that, she's sexy. She has that little evil, sinister look to her.
Okay.
It's Angela Bassett.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold. After Hemsworth, I was sold. And
And then
Had
last
me
but
at
not
Hamill.
least, to play the sorceress, she's a good guy. She's the one who tells He-Man he's He-Man. Would be Angelina Jolie.
ooh, okay.
She's kind of disappeared.
Yeah,
She's not really done much.
Well, this is the movie where she reappears, man. Gosh, come
There
on,
you go.
man. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
This is her comeback film. I like it. Okay. All right. So my choice
Your choice.
is, I don't know if you've seen this, Carlos. It's Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins.
Uh-huh.
And he did a film in 1987 called Inner Space.
Oh,
Oh, no.
dude.
Okay. So
Love that movie.
basically the film is about a test pilot who's miniaturized in a tiny ship in a secret experiment, and he's accidentally injected into a hapless hypochondriac nervous store clerk.
Wow.
And it's hilarious. Kind of remind me of a classic film called Fantastic Voyage, where you get to see the inside of the body and so forth, and they have a little ship. So it's like a little pod that's floating around the bloodstream. Great movie, a lot of fun. Like I said, it was directed by Joe Dante. The problem I had with it, I love the film, but it was a little too cartoony for me. You know, it was kind of
Martin Short.
Right. And I love Martin Short.
Yeah.
But the directing style, because Joe Dante is rooted in animation as a cartoonist. So you can see the cartoony element in the film.
Mhm.
So as much as I love the film, I would like to see a remake.
Okay.
Now, here's my cast.
Right.
Lieutenant Tuck Pendleton, who was played by Dennis Quaid, Chris Pratt.
Ooh,
Okay. All right. I like the Pratt.
Yes, as the cocky test pilot.
Drunk
It's-
test pilot.
Drunk test pilot.
Mhm.
It's him. Jack Putter, who was played by Martin Short, who was the hypochondriac, nervous wreck. I'm going to go with a Doctor Who alumni,
Okay.
Oh,
David Tennant.
nice. Oh, hell
All right,
yeah.
all right.
I'm there.
Yes, this he's got this quirky British kind of thing. He can be cool and slick, but he can also be like a nervous wreck. I mean, he was in Fright Night, 2011. He was the Chris Angel wannabe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's fucking awesome. He's a great actor. He's just witty and sharp, and I think he can really pull it off. This kind of character and this neurotic kind of character.
Yeah.
Lydia, who was played by Meg Ryan, who was the Goose's wife from Top Gun.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes, awesome. I'd go with, and this actress, she has comedic chops, but she's also a damn good actress. Emily Blunt from A Quiet Place. I would go with her. And now the director, this guy, he can do action, adventure, fun, stuff that kids would enjoy, but adults can sit there and go, this is not silly. This is really fun. Stephen Sommers, who directed the first two Mummy films with Brendan Fraser.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he can give you that serious edge for the adults, give you that adventure, but also the fun and the comedy. I mean, I believe he did Jungle Cruise.
You know what? I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's a damn good movie.
It was good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if David Summers directed Steven Summers directed that one, but that's his style.
Okay.
So there's my remake.
I love the movie. I'd see it. I'd watch it.
Okay. All right. So we got our Hollywood. Are you listening? We got 3 good ones for you.
Yep.
So you can just email us at thefilmjoepod@gmail.com.
We will take royalties.
We'll take all the royalties. We'll take a nice little percentage.
I'll take a chunk.
Yeah.
I'm not greedy.
All right. So now it's so let's get into this week's episode. What do you say, guys?
All right.
Let's jump.
All right. So it's time for the remakes.
Remake.
Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
That's what you were trying to do.
That was
Wow.
All that build up, man.
all that build up.
I can hear the spittle.
Yeah, that's why I have the spit guard on my mic. So we're gonna go with the first one. The first Fright Night. There was 2 Fright Nights. One in 86, right? 85. What the fuck is wrong with me? 85, and the other was in 2011. So we're gonna start with the 1985 version of Fright Night. And this one, it's about a washed-up horror actor and a horny teenager who battle evil.
What would you do if you accidentally discovered the house next door was occupied by something not human? Something horrifying. Something unspeakably evil. No one believes you.
Mom, I didn't have a nightmare.
Not your mom.
They did kill a girl over there.
Not your girlfriend.
Charlie, is this some sort of a trick to get me back?
Not even the police.
Look, I know it's crazy. I know that.
Fright Night sees a teenager believing that the newcomer in his neighborhood is a vampire. He turns to an actor in a television-hosted horror movie show for help to deal with the undead. We're talking about Fright Night from 1985, directed by Tom Holland, and it stars Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Beers, and the ever so awesome Roddy McDowall. So, I I saw this when it first came out in '85, and I fell in love with it. It's just a classic. Carlos, I believe this is your first time, right?
Yeah.
So let's get your takes on this.
I didn't know Spider-Man directed this.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought the exact same thing. Like, really? What?
I was like, damn, how old is he? He's the vampire here.
Well, before his foray into acting, he
Yeah.
dabbled in directing,
Yeah.
in a different life. So, all right. So, your takes on this?
It was pretty good. I liked it. Didn't much care for the kid, honestly. One, I didn't like him how he treats others around him. And
Are you talking about Charlie?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I thought he was a kind of like a prick.
Really? How so?
Okay. For one, how are you gonna go to the police officer and say he's a vampire? He has a coffin. How do you jump to these fucking conclusions?
Okay,
'Cause
granted.
he saw the coffin.
He saw the
He
coffin.
saw the coffin. A bunch of people. He might be a training mortician trying to like.
He tried to bite him.
He
Yeah.
Well, hey, he tried to bite him.
You know.
I could try to bite anybody. It doesn't mean I'm a vampire.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I thought. Okay.
Also, the thing how he treats his fucking girlfriend. Like, are we gonna do it? We've been dating for a year. God, I want some action.
She
love.
was being a prude. She was being a prude.
He was being a dick.
Well, when she finally does decide to give it up, he's
She's
like,
a fucking vampire. I laughed. He wasn't even the first. He got the sloppy seconds.
Oh,
Fuck
damn.
him.
okay. Well, I thought it was kind of silly in the set. I mean, I love this film. No, don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, you go to the cops, you say something like, you know what? There's something about my, going up with my neighbor. I don't know. It's kind of strange. No, he's a vampire. And the cop is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did have an issue with that, but so
Also, it's a very kid approach to solving the issue. Like, if I'm convinced my neighbor is a vampire and the cops don't do anything about it, obviously I'm gonna take the next approach and go to a celebrity that does a vampire hunting show, because that to me is the most logical approach.
he's Peter Vincent, the vampire.
Peter
killer.
Vincent.
But then again, it's 1985, and the youth of 1985 was still extremely innocent, compared to today's youth. We're
Fair.
very, much more mature. I was playing Barbie dolls when I was 12 years old, and 12-year-old now is playing on her freaking iPhone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah. And
Playing a simulating game about cooking meth. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty stark. So
Yeah.
Daisy, your recollection and takes on it.
Well, this was, I want to say, the first vampire movie that I had ever seen at that age. And this movie is what started my love for vampires.
Really?
Yes. I was fascinated with the female vampire. When she becomes a vampire, I thought she was gorgeous. I thought she was beautiful. Weird, right? Because vampires, they're bad guys.
Right.
So
Well, that's one thing that I know. I kind of caught with this is the antithesis of the typical vampire.
Antithesis.
Yeah, for me, it's very sexy, very seductive. This movie for me was, like Rear Window meets Dracula.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. It definitely had vibes of Rear Window, the Hitchcock masterpiece. With a slight hitch, a little difference here and there, but basically, yeah, it's the same concept as Rear Window.
Yeah, and the vampire himself, he's very sure of himself, very sexy, and everybody's loins are on fire, including Charlie's mom.
Charlie's mom was just a horny broad.
Hey,
she was thirsty.
She- well, it's interesting because the Chris Sarandon character, yeah, he does exude this charm, this sexual prowess, if you will, and it does kind of harken back to the 1931 Dracula with
Yes.
Bela Lugosi, with the sensuality and the stare, and I mean, that's what I love about this one, because in essence, this here it's a love letter to the classic Universal horror movies, Dracula, Frankenstein, the werewolf, all this good stuff. And it does have, because I mean, the director Tom Holland, not Spider-Man,
Not Spider-Man.
not Spider-Man. That's the era he grew up in, and he does have a gripe as a director with where horror films were going at that era. It was no longer about, mythical monsters and vampires. It was about serial killers and axes and knives. In fact,
There's
there's
no
even
there's no mystique around that anymore.
right, and I think he even says it. Peter Vincent, which is played by Roddy McDowall, he makes a comments about it.
When he's getting kicked
Mm.
out of the studio, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that was an echo of Holland's feeling of nostalgia towards an era that's bygone,
Hmm.
and that's what I think this movie's special in that sense.
Yeah, it's what I look for in a vampire movie. I'm very picky about vampire movies, and
Yeah.
this had everything that I loved about vampires.
Yeah, I mean, it even had the Mina Harker element.
Yeah, it did.
Because Dracula, Mina, Mina looked just like his dead wife from hundreds of years before, and in this they kind of do the same. So I thought that was quite effective. But Sarandon, to me, he really was a cool ass vampire
Hmm.
and a smart ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got so many years of being a vampire.
You start to get a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And also another homage. I don't know if you noticed. Remember when there's a scene where what's it, Jerry Dandridge? What a name for a vampire, right?
Jerry.
Jerry.
And he's in his coffin and he rises up straight out like a plank.
Oh yeah, and the final
Yeah.
like fight scene and shit.
That's an homage also to Nosferatu from 1922.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And there's a scene. So I mean, this movie's just peppered with love.
Yeah.
Vampire
for-
love.
Yeah, vampire love and old horror movies from that era that that just gone, and it's still gone. I mean, we don't have those mythical kind of monsters anymore. They keep trying to bring them back, like Dracula and Frankenstein, but they just don't have the same flair.
It's just
Yeah.
the same movies being retold, to be honest.
Yeah,
Nothing really
yeah.
unique.
Now, Peter Vincent, which is played. Okay, so for you, those of you who haven't seen this, let's just give a quick recap. Basically, it's a teenager, high school kid. Him and his girlfriend. He lives in this neighborhood, and a seductive, strange, mysterious neighbor moves in, which is Jerry Dandridge. He moves in, and Charlie, who's the teenage boy, he sees something. He sees a murder, or he sees the vampire kill somebody. Yeah, that's basically it. And he's trying to prove that he's a vampire throughout the whole film. So the character Peter Vincent, who's played by what's
Roddy
his name again?
McDowall.
Roddy McDowall.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. So it's also further homage to that era. There's Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin in the original Star Wars, and Vincent Price, who did countless of horror films in the 50s. And Peter Cushing, he played the part of Van Helsing in a lot of films.
Oh.
And of course, Vincent Price also played in several horror movies. So it's a combination of Vincent Price and Peter Cushing. So you got Peter Vincent.
Elvira.
It's a sick name too.
Elvira, yeah, exactly. And that whole thing of because there was quite a few shows like Elvira. There was Seymour, who was this goblin who would host horror movies. Oh man, there were
Seymour.
Seymour Butts.
Dumb.
Now, one thing that's interesting also within the film, a nice little touch, Chris Sarandon, it was actually his idea that throughout the film he would eat apples
Yes.
and,
Okay.
and fruit. Now, okay, that's kind of neat, but why? Well, because fruit bats that only eat fruit. So that his theory is that Jerry had a lot of fruit bat DNA in him.
That's nice.
So
That's a nice little
was,
touch.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Also, another little Easter egg. Roddy McDowall was in another classic sci-fi film from 1968. He was in Planet of the Apes.
Oh, he
Okay.
was.
That's right. He was Cornelius
Yes.
or something. Yeah,
He was the monkey.
and he was the monkey, and he was the human vet.
Oh, that's
he-
right.
Yeah, and in Peter Vincent's apartment, you actually see what's it call it a real life mask from the original film
Oh, shoot.
in a
that's
case.
sick.
Yeah, a little homage there to his classic film thingy. So now the majority of the budget on this film was special effects.
Yeah, you can tell.
And so they were fantastic. I mean, to me, the practical effects were incredible. The wolf, when Evil Ed turns into a wolf.
I
That
don't think
was
he's a wolf.
He was a wolf.
I don't think he was. I think it was just like a half turned bat.
He was a
no,
dog.
dude. That was a
remember,
dog.
Yeah, remember when Peter Vincent goes next door and he finds out that he's there's a vampire. Then he freaks out and he runs.
Yeah, he drops some air, leaves.
And he goes to
Next door.
Charlie's house.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And he's looking. That's where he finds Evil Ed in bed. Remember with the red hair,
yeah.
like a Raggedy Ann. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And he runs. And then you see a wolf coming out of the room. Did you fall asleep during this
I
part?
didn't fall asleep.
It was a wolf.
Oh, fuck.
It was a wolf,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. And he runs after him, and he gets impaled, by a piece of wood, and he falls off the side of the stairs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that effect was, first of all, when Peter Vincent looks over the banister and he sees the wolf with the impaled piece of wood in his chest,
Mhm.
you see this dog kind of like crawling and making a weird noise from.
Oh,
Like a
yes.
drowning, like fucking dog.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was disturbing, and you kind of see him walking, kind of like crawling,
That-
and then you see
That
Huh?
scene, it was heartbreaking, to be honest.
it was pretty tragic, and the de-transformation back to human was pretty impressive.
It was great.
Yeah, no, I loved it. And to me, the special effects were top notch, and it's a trip because usually when you got films that divert the majority of the budget to special effects, the film suffers in storytelling, it suffers in acting and directing.
Mhm.
I don't think so here.
No.
You have a great cast, especially Roddy McDowall and Chris Sarandon.
Mhm.
Even Amanda Beers from Married with Children, she was pretty good in it as well.
Yeah, I have no complaints. They were awesome.
Yeah. And pretty much this was the most financially successful horror film of 1985.
What else came out that year then?
Oh man, there was.
It's the 80s, man.
It's the 80s. There was
the
a
80s.
lot of horror films back then, but it did really, really well.
Yeah.
It was just right behind Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh,
yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
That movie was garbage.
And they made money too, but not one of my favorite Freddy Krueger films.
No.
So the budget at the time of production was about $9 million,
Oh, wow.
Okay,
which is about I'd say a little over $26 million today.
relatively cheap.
Mhm.
And its box office was about 25 million, which is
Wow.
about about $72 million today. So with a minute budget, it really raked in a lot of box office, and it did really, really well. Now let's jump into the reviews and scores. Roger Ebert,
Oof.
Yeah,
everybody's favorite critic, well, he gave this film 3 out of 4 stars.
What?
Yeah. Now this is surprising because he usually does acknowledge great films, and he is fair. But when it came to like films like this, he was very harsh on them. But
Right.
he liked it. He said Fright Night it's not a distinguished movie, but it has a lot of fun being undistinguished.
that's a very pretentious thing to say, but sure.
IMDb is sitting at a 7.1, Metacritic 62, Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score was 83% with an audience score of 76%. Letterboxd 3.6 out of 5.
Wow.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
So it is pretty well received. Now this movie did have a sequel in 1988, Fright Night Part 2,
Okay.
where Charlie Brewster returns along with Peter Vincent.
Hmm.
That's it. And I think it's Jerry Dandridge, the vampire, his sister.
Nice.
Yeah, and it sucks.
Getting revenge on the family. Bled.
Right. Oh god, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
You know what? I do want to see it just to remember why it was so bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about 80s sequels, like we were talking about last week's episode,
Hmm.
is that I don't think studios put much thought into sequels. They just figured same character, same thing, same IP, throw a shit script out there and it's going to make money.
Hmm.
And sometimes they would, but most of the time they didn't. And, the story, it suffered in the process. So, yeah.
It diminishes the whole, the line of the movies as well.
Yeah, it does. It does bring it down. So let's go with some ratings. Carlos.
Carlos.
Remember, 1 out of 10 fangs.
Fangs. Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, the special effects were cool. I personally like when Jerry, the vampire, he transforms into like final fight scene from up top the staircase and flies down, and it's like this like oddly moist,
Like, yeah,
fat looking thing.
oddly moist.
Yeah, he looked wet. Like if you were to like hold him, he looked moisty.
It sounds so bad.
That's best way that I could describe it.
He's moist.
It's moist.
I mean, I can't imagine transforming and not being a little,
Oh,
covered in
yeah.
goo.
Oh,
Anywho,
Yeah.
jumping ahead.
Yep.
I mean, the effects were good.
Okay.
I didn't really care for the main character. What's his name?
Charlie Brewster.
Yeah, Charlie. Brewster.
You're so cool, Brewster.
Yeah, he was that friend. Evil Ed was annoying as fuck too.
I thought he
I
was
was glad he died.
I
was
love
hilarious.
evil.
I was glad.
In fact, he even spawned he was in the sequel, and he did a movie called 976 Evil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trip out.
Didn't care much for him.
Okay.
I found him annoying.
All right.
I do like the scene with the girlfriend, like this big ass like Joker bat laugh.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool.
When
That
she-
shit was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a little story behind that.
Yeah.
In that the special effects person, the head of the special effects department, was approached by Holland at the last minute. He said, we need to do something really special here for her transformation when she attacks Charlie in the basement. So what we need is an ear-to-ear vampire grin.
Mm.
And he was like, what the fuck? I don't know. So he, very last minute, he puts this thing together. He looks at it. He goes, this looks like shit.
Damn.
The director's like, fine, it'll work. And they film it just right. Well, the film is finished and they're about to premiere their film. And the director calls the special effects guy. He goes, hey, I want you to check out our poster. And on the poster, silhouetted in the background behind the house on the poster design is the vampire chick with the ear-to-ear vampire grin.
Mm.
The director thought it was so good. And yeah, it was pretty damn effective.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
But I mean, that's pretty much my take on it. Good effects. Didn't care for the characters. Peter Vincent, cool.
Cool.
Keeping it simple.
Okay.
I'm a man of little words. It's heard the most. I'll go with the 7 fangs.
All right.
7 fangs.
All right. 7 out of 10 fangs. All right, Daisy.
So, this movie, like I said, spawned my love for vampires. It'll always have a special place in my heart. One of my favorite scenes is the seduction scene with him and Amy, and he's playing that music in the background.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, that was pretty.
Love it. Yeah, that forever will stay in my mind. It had everything that what I feel are should be in a vampire movie. I love Evil Ed. I thought he was awesome.
Ooh.
I thought he was awesome. Charlie, he was a bit of a dumbass. I wouldn't say that he was an asshole. I just, if I'm gonna snitch on the neighborhood vampire, I'm not gonna go to the cops and say, hey, there's a vampire next door. I'm gonna say, hey, man, there's a murderer next door. I saw some hookers next door and they didn't come out.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I said, I love the freaking movie. Jerry Dandridge as the vampire. I thought he was just the full embodiment of sexy. So I'm gonna give that a 9.0 fangs.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I thought it was, to me, it was a lot of fun. It was slightly campy, definitely an homage to the glory days of horror, and a lot of fun and very, very witty in its approach to doing so. I thought Chris Sarandon was fantastic as the vampire. Amanda Bierce as the love interest, she was pretty good. Roddy McDowell, to me, stole the show in almost every scene. Just a classically trained professional actor. So you could tell it's like he wasn't sitting there going, well, this movie is beneath me. I'm just collecting a check. He took it seriously, and he did an amazing job at it. But yeah, just a lot of fun. And the horror, the special effects, a lot of it still holds up. I'm going to give this easily an 8 out of 10 fangs.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 fangs.
What the hell was that?
No,
That was me showing my fangs.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. Next up, in the dry Nevada desert, a teenager and a Vegas magician battle the Prince of Darkness.
Adam Johnson. Adam, You know Adam's missing, right? Right, kids aren't coming to school. It happens all the time. I don't know if you're paying attention to roll call, but he's not the only one that's gone. You're nuts.
This is my son, Charlie, and his girlfriend. Hi. So Jerry is our new neighbor.
Hey. Hey. Now listen to me. We graphed up all the disappearances. That's you right there in the center next to his house. I really hate to be the one to tell you this, but that guy, your neighbor, Jerry. Yeah, he's a vampire. That is a terrible vampire name. Jerry?
A new neighbor moves in next to Charlie, who discovers that he is an ancient vampire who preys on the community. Can he save the neighborhood from the creature with the help of a famous vampire killer? The film we're talking about is Fright Night from 2011, directed by Craig Gillespie. And the film stars Anton Yelchin, Colin Farrell, David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, by the way, and Toni Collette. Okay, so Daisy, we'll go with you first because you're also deeply entrenched in the history of Fright Night.
Yeah.
What were your takes on this remake?
Okay, to call it a remake, I think that's going a little too far.
Right.
I think this was a vampire movie that should have been named something else. It didn't feel like my Fright Night. You know, like I said, you know, you have a vampire who's a hunter, who's sexy. You know, he uses that to hunt his prey. This guy, he was a bit of an ass.
Yeah, he was kind of a creepy prick.
He was a jerk. Granted, he's, you know, Colin Farrell, he's gorgeous, you know, makes a perfect vampire, but I feel that he didn't use those looks to, you know,
Didn't have the charisma.
he did not have the charisma.
Right.
So to me, this felt like a totally different movie. Was it bad? No, it wasn't bad. I think it was awesome. I think the actors, you know, were great. You know, the acting was great. It wasn't forced. It was good. It was really good. It just, for me, it didn't feel like Fright Night.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think I thought it was not too bad myself. It did lack the nostalgia.
It did.
It was kind of void of that soul and that heart
Mhm.
of the original. And did you notice there was no familiar in this one?
There wasn't. There was no Renfield.
Oh, Carlos, he has his blank look on his face.
Yeah, I'm confused. What do you mean familiar? Is that like a Patronus or something?
No.
A familiar is kind of like the guardian, not a guardian, but he's like he kind of keeps an eye on the vampire. He's a human that's kind of like a servant to him with the promise of eventually becoming a vampire.
Got it.
Mhm.
And the original did have a familiar, which was that weird dude.
Yeah.
And this one didn't have a familiar.
Got it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I know vampire lingo.
Now you do.
There you
And
go.
but I thought it was a cool idea. Okay, we don't have a familiar, but he's creating a vampire army in this one.
Mhm.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They have a couple of really great scenes in that. And also they kind of I didn't like the switcheroo of it's Ed who's he's a vampire. Evil Ed, his buddy.
Yeah.
It wasn't Charlie like in the original. Oh, there's a vampire. Nobody believes him. No, this time it's his buddy,
Mhm.
which I thought sucked.
Yeah.
Not because he switched it necessarily, but it isn't until deep into the second act where Ed tells him he's a vampire. I've been watching this guy. Oh shit! We're the first ones to fight. We're all, we just found this out. What's going on? We don't see a prelude to him investigating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
No.
just kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, later on you see that he has video and stuff like that, but I didn't like that setup.
And I'm sorry, but that evil Ed was annoying.
Yeah, that dude was fucking annoying.
Okay, I will say this. Horrible casting.
Yes.
You can't do a McLovin vampire.
He was annoying. He was so annoying.
I just couldn't take it seriously. Like, especially when he turns into a vampire and then he's in the vampire hunter's house and the fucking bookshelf falls on him and all you hear is, oh fuck, and just bookshelf.
That shit was,
I was like,
that was
dude,
funny.
that shit was fucking funny, man. Like, I just couldn't help but go.
I mean,
like, that was just bad casting
So
or amazing casting just to fucking laugh at it.
right. Well, I think I could see the reasoning behind them hiring this actor because he was McLovin, of course, in Superbad.
Yeah.
And he was very popular. He's a meme, and
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no,
He was
bad
super bad
casting.
he was super bad in this.
Yeah.
Yes. I know you guys accuse me of the bad jokes.
What comes around goes around.
But Evil Ed in the original was a lot better.
Yeah.
And also the effects in this, by comparison,
They're not existing.
They're shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I almost laughed when they recreated the ear-to-ear grin.
Yeah.
Oh
the
yeah.
giant,
Mhm.
but it was digital.
Yeah.
It was computerized. I'm like, what's the point? I mean, I told you guys the story behind it and what ingenuity and how amazing it looked. It's lazy.
Mhm.
I thought that was lazy. They should have just went with something different instead of trying to recreate a work of art.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what they did. I mean, also, I don't know. You guys tell me. I was on the fence. Peter Vincent in the original, he is the host of horror movies on local TV.
Classic
Sure.
horror movies at that.
Classic horror films.
Mhm.
And he used to do these films himself, and he's kind of jaded, and he was the vampire hunter. The great setup, right?
Yes.
What you guys think of the Vegas magician?
The Chris Angel wannabe.
Oh my God!
I think it was more or less like a time adjustment thing. Whereas like you have in the mid 80s, you had Elvira, you had the Goblin thingy,
Right.
So it was kind of like what's relevant to that time versus what was relevant in the early 2000s. Like you had Chris Angel, he was a fucking sensation throughout the internet, where he chopped the girl in half in the park and shit, right?
You lose the class though.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of more or less like saying like it's more of like a time adjustment thing. I don't know if it really worked that well.
No,
it was distracting.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, as great as David Tennant was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make the connection. How is that relevant to? They really stretched. He is.
Well, it's because they were in Vegas.
Yeah, I guess, but they tried. They tried. Yeah,
That's one thing I will give it to this one. It did make a lot of things, or it did put a lot of things in the movie that, it makes sense. Like, okay, it's in Vegas. People come and go all the time. It's very easy to lose track of people. Sure, perfect place for a vampire in theory. In the outskirts of like the strip,
Right.
the Vegas Strip, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And in the outskirts, the town is gonna sleep late. They're gonna be up at night because they work at night, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. The whole time adjustment thing with Chris Angel, sure, I guess, right? I feel like a lot of things were put that I was like, okay, yeah, like you said, how he's a tribe of vampires and he's making his army,
right, which I thought it was cool. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. So it was a lot of things that were like small little details like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Now, one thing that didn't translate well, and I'm going to tell you why. In the original Fright Night, Amy, who is the love interest to Jerry Dandridge, the vampire, because she looks like, she's what, 16, 17 years old?
Yeah.
And he's like 40.
That's nasty.
It's kind of creepy.
I don't care.
Nasty.
Yeah, I don't care what kind of, the argument would be, oh, well, he's a vampire, so time doesn't translate anymore. But yeah.
In that, it worked. I'm going to tell you why. Because they made the connection, or they mirrored Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. And so it worked there. You kind of get it. You go, yeah, he's 40 and she's 17, but she looks like his deceased wife from hundreds of years ago. And in that time, 30, 40-year-olds were marrying 15-year-olds.
Exactly.
So you kind of make it fit, and it's more acceptable, even though it's not, but it still kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
So it translated well in the original. In this one,
he's just a hornball.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of gave this whole David Bowie Labyrinth creepiness, Now, you have not seen Labyrinth, right, Carlos?
I've dabbled in scenes.
Oh, you got to see that.
Oh,
I love it.
He plays the Goblin King, right? And he's in love with this girl. It's creep fest. It's creep fest. Not fun. But Colin Farrell, to his credit, he did voice this to the director, and he's like, "Yeah, that's kind of you got some sexual predator thing going on. It doesn't seem right."
Yeah.
And the director's like, "Okay, noted," and didn't change a thing.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. We're still gonna do it.
Right. And in an interview with Empire Magazine, Tom Holland, who wrote and directed the original, he himself, he stated he did not like this remake.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and not that he was talking shit about a fellow filmmaker, but you can see why, because his film came from the heart
Yeah.
and from just the nostalgia and love for horror film. And this one was void of all that, and it was just kind of dry. I mean, not again, it's harking back. It's not a bad film,
No, it's not.
but it's kind of an empty film.
hmm
Yeah, so now the budget at this time, this is recent, relatively recent. It was about 20 million, which is about $27 million today. So it's an average price, low budget horror film. It made 41 million, which is about $57 million today. Not enough to garner any further excursions in the.
It made a quick buck and got the fuck out.
Yeah, and and that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It came and went, and that was it. It was just here to do that, and that was it. Versus the original Fright Night, which it became a staple in horror film.
Yeah.
It did.
It did. So reviews and scores. Robert Kohler of Variety, he wrote that he liked it. He said it was a clever, balanced mix of scares and laughs. So he thought it was pretty okay. Cinema scored this at a B-.
Oh,
Okay.
it's generous.
Yeah, a little too generous. Yeah, I'd give it a C+. IMDb is sitting at a 6.4, Metacritic 64, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 72%, audience score 59, and Letterboxd 3 stars out of 5. So it wasn't received that badly.
Yeah.
But I guess it's kind of hard not to look through the goggles of nostalgia. If you put them side by side, I mean, some people will say, well, it's not fair because this is a film in itself. But you know what? When you do a remake, inevitably,
You're going to get compared and contrasted.
Exactly.
They're gonna put it up against each other and compare them.
Yes.
And it did not spawn any sequels. I'm sure they had an idea they would like to have done a sequel, but never happened. So let's give our ratings, Daisy.
So, well, like I said, I love the original. This it was totally different. It didn't feel like Fright Night, but it was great as its own film. One of my favorite scenes is when he busts out the hooker that Jerry has hidden in one of his little rooms.
Oh, that was cool when she burst in when she comes out into the sunlight and
burst in flames.
Yeah, I love.
That was cool.
I love the freaking cat and mouse game that they played trying to get out of the house. And the thing, he knew it. He knew they were there. He was just playing with them. He was toying with them.
Right. I mean, if you live to be 300 years old, you're going to entertain yourself however you can.
Exactly. He's very sure of himself. He's like, all right, take her out. It's all good. I already have.
You ain't going to have any evidence.
Exactly. So yeah, I love that. I love the cameo from Chris Sarandon.
Oh, that's right. Did you catch that, Carlos?
No.
Okay, remember when they're on the highway in the desert running away from the vampire, right?
The car that crashes into them?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
That's the original Jerry Dandridge.
And here's the kicker, is if you look in the credits, his character name is JD.
Oh, shit. That is so cool.
Yes. So,
cool.
like I said, David Tennant, I love David Tennant. I thought he was awesome. This shouldn't have been called Fright Night. It should have been called
Scary Nights at Vegas.
The Scary Vampires in Vegas, So with that being said, I think this movie deserves a 7.5 fangs.
All right. Carlos
says, I feel like comparing and contrasting it to the original, it's a very tough thing. Like, because how you said the original was a passion film. Has a lot of inspiration into like the OG like monster movies, right? Versus this, that's just more of like it's a remake, it's a vampire movie. The name is there to sell it, type of thing.
Right.
I feel like a lot of things were also added to it. Like I said earlier, like it does make sense. Vegas, outskirts, yada yada yada. But it still wasn't enough to like fluff it up.
Right.
It was just slight cushion.
Right.
That I have the memory foam that I need.
Right. Kind of void.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of empty space. So a lot of things did fall flat. Yeah, I'd give it a 5.5 fangs.
Wow.
Okay.
Independent, I'd maybe shoot for a 6.5, but it's Fright Night, so yeah,
right.
About 5.5.
Okay,
fangs.
Cool. Well, I found it wasn't as fun as the original. kind of tongue in cheek. Although I got to give it to this one, the suspense sequence, the action was more intense. The sequence when they're running away from the vampire in the desert road and he's chasing them, and I thought that was great. It was a lot of fun and very intense. And I think that's where this movie excels a little bit, in that it gave it its own spin. It's more of a suspense action horror film, and it's more intense. I mean, it wasn't as fun or heartfelt as its original film. And the special effects, they were just lackluster, if non-existent by comparison, and lazy, and very lazy. But still, it was pretty good and still a lot of fun. I give this a 7 out of 10. Fans.
Okay.
Yeah. So not a bad remake.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Just, not the worst. Not the worst.
Yeah. At least it's better than Mac and Me.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
So, Carlos, you weren't here last week. So we did Mac and Me. So we have the Mac and Me meter.
Okay.
So at least it's better than Mac and Me, or it's worse than Mac and Me.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So at least it's better than Mac and
It's
Me.
better than Mac and Me, definitely.
Yeah. So definitely. All right. So further recommendations of films that are remakes that actually I thought they were pretty damn good for being remakes. The first one is Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
With Chris Pine. Although technically it's kind of a remake, but it's not, because in Star Trek there are two timelines. There's the regular timeline, and there's the Kelvin timeline. Kelvin. I'm going to get super geeky here. And the Kelvin timeline basically was the USS Kelvin, which was piloted by, or the captain was Captain Kirk's father.
Whoa.
And an event occurs in the new film where the future is changed, where Captain Kirk's father gets killed, and that alters the future. So now you have an alternate timeline. You follow me here?
I follow.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. But, so it's known as the Kelvin timeline in these 3 films in this series. But for a remake, it was pretty damn good. They took it in a different direction. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Watch the original films, and then watch this one. It was actually pretty good.
It was better than the originals.
Yeah, I think. Oh well,
I don't like Star Trek. For me, the new Star Trek movies was more like Star Wars, to be honest.
Well, you know why, right? Because J.J. Abrams directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will
pretty
say
much.
the only thing I remember from the Star Trek movies when they were getting remade is one of the Star Trek movies lost best makeup in the Oscars to Suicide Squad. The first one that came out, not the second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The shit makeup in Suicide Squad versus the alien people that were in Star Trek.
Star Trek has some amazing stuff. Another remake that I thought was really good is, although again, you can argue that it's really a prequel or reimagining or whatever, Planet of the Apes, the new series of Planet of the Apes films. They're actually pretty damn good, and I love the originals because I grew up on them, and to me, especially the first one, is a prime example of great science fiction writing.
Yeah,
and but the remakes, the new ones, they're actually pretty damn good. And there's a new one coming out this summer.
Yeah,
so.
Rise of the Dawn of the War, the Rise of the Planet of the War.
Seriously,
that's the one.
Fucking ridiculous title.
And finally, I like to also recommend this remake. And if you're nostalgic, you say, "Oh, I love the original," but the remake was pretty damn good, and it needed a remake. Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, I know you were going there.
Yeah. The 1981 version, it was, you grew up with it, you kind of go, the owl and all that shit and everything. But the special effects were pretty bad.
They were, but you know what? It was weird.
Yeah. But, so it was ripe for a remake. I think the skeletons you're talking about, that was for Jason and the Argonauts.
No. Yeah,
Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, okay.
No, that one, no. You're right. You're right.
And that one should never, ever be remade.
No.
Which I think they did. I don't know. But yeah.
No, I don't know.
So, so overall, I mean, there's reasons to do a remake and there's reasons not to. In the case like Clash of the Titans, there's a good reason. I mean, special effects wise, storytelling, cinematography, budget, let's do a remake on it.
Plus, you had Liam Neeson
as Zeus.
Yeah.
You can beat
amazing
that.
casting.
Yeah. And, but then, there's reasons not to. I mean, you look at certain films like Back to the Future, which have been talked about doing a remake.
Oh, don't do it. Hollywood,
No.
please don't do it.
Yeah. And so, or they even remade Psycho,
Yeah.
Mm,
and that was a piece of garbage. I mean, that was really bad. But I mean, sometimes we do need a fresh approach. Sometimes.
exactly.
And if originally it's a great film and it holds up and it still has the same effect, don't touch it. There's no need to remake it. Just re-release it theatrically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
which I think, that's what they should be doing. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and start closing this down. So next week we're going to be talking about franchises, and we're going to pick one movie from two franchises that were the best of the franchise.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the best, because sometimes you got franchise films that go, wow, this one was good, or this one sucked balls, and so forth, or this one was better than the first one. So we're gonna pick the best film in a couple of franchises,
Done deal.
and the titles are to be announced.
Nah.
Nice.
All right. So Carlos, since you were not here last week, what are your closing thoughts for the day?
Just because it's a kiss on the neck does not mean it's a bite to turn you into something different for the rest of your life.
Okay, so
Woo,
Yeah.
okay.
Ponder that one. Ponder that one.
you dug deep for that
Yeah,
one.
no, you put me on the spot, man. I need to ponder these the night before.
So we really hope you enjoyed the show. Please help to support the pod by giving us a nice 5-star rating, leave us a good review. Or another way to help support us is simply to subscribe and or follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget to drop by our Facebook group and leave us a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Check us out on our TikTok page, and also check out our YouTube channel where we have all the current episodes available on as well. You can also contact us directly via email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. So with that being said,
Real quick, can I remake the leaving thought, the last thought? Can I remake it? Can I redo it?
Okay.
Keep it in.
You ready? Interrupt.
All of this in. Yeah.
Okay, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you.
My editing process can be a pain, but
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
No. Keep this in. It's fun. Okay. In a life of eternal youth, wouldn't we all seek companionship?
Ooh.
There you go. See.
All
Give me
right.
some time to ponder, man. I can throw out some bars.
All right. Okay. All right. That's
Thank you.
that's redemption,
Much
right
better.
there.
Much better.
All right. So thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting the pod, and join us next week. I'm Joe.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Daisy.
And this is the Film Joe podcast.
Where film talk happens.
Okay.